Hey everybody, what's going on tonight? Back with another late night video after my Gundam build that I did today. But we're taking a different turn on things here. We are going to do some gardening stuff now. What I have here is a terrarium of air plants that I have built over time. This here is a Tilandazia brachiocalos. I could be slaughtering how that's pronounced, but I'm not positive. And this is some kind of Spanish moss. Now, if you don't know anything about air plants, they're really dynamic in the fact that they have these like little tiny hairs that come off them. That's like how they're white like this and on the bottom of this. But basically, they shoot these little things out into the air and they collect the water from the air, and that's how they survive. But they tend to be a finicky plant that not a lot of people like to deal with. So I've been taking care of mine the best I can. Now, on this one here, I had to actually remove the flowers the other day because I found out when I was doing the K Street video and talking to the lady that you're actually supposed to remove the flowers once they dry, and I didn't know that. But she's the one who I originally bought them from, so I'm going to listen to her because she breeds them. So we'll get to the breakdown here. Back here is just some regular everyday water. This stuff, oops, a little close, is Miracle Grow orchid food, and this is what you want to give an air plant. I don't know if that only specifically applies to this breed or not, but that's what she told me to use. So we got that, and then we got, basically it's like a granulated ammonia powder, because these are ammonia plants, not nitrate plants. So, but the thing is that the crystals back here are dilutable in water, and this stuff is actually something you only want to give them a couple times a week. This is like superfood for them. So I'll show the process, break it down. Normally at the end, you want to put them on a paper towel or something like that and let them dry, and I'm talking for a couple hours. It's not a thing where you can just walk away from it. But basically when you wet them down, and then from what I understand, when they turn white again, they're good to go. And then you can put them back in your terrarium. But it's really crazy because you can actually watch these things unravel themselves when you put them in the water, and you can also watch little bubbles come up where they're absorbing the water, which is pretty crazy to see a plant do. It's pretty nuts. But I'm going to do the moss here first, and then I'm going to get to the other one. So let's do this. I'm going to try to get a good angle of what I'm doing here, and maybe hopefully I can get some of the cool breathing action, because I have to kind of pick down into the other ones. These ones just kind of fell off the main cluster. Usually they have one root. So let's do it here. Actually, I need to remove this one first. And you want to be very delicate when you're doing this. You don't want to harm the plant. They are pretty sensitive, from what I understand. This here is just like a moss bundle, and you kind of use this little pad to help maintain some of the moisture. But this is where it gets cool, is when you dunk it in the water. And you kind of want to do this until it's all wet. Now, you don't want to let them down for too long, like no more than 2 minutes, really. So I gotta be really mindful on the timer of what I'm doing here when I'm recording. Oops, knocked that over. I'm only using water in this, on this one currently, because of the fact that I don't want to overdo it on any of the chemicals. So I'm going to let this soak. I'm trying to get really close to it. Now you can see some bubbles, which is really cool. That's like the process. Now normally this should be more green, and I'm having a very hard time keeping it green, but look at this. This is so crazy. Like, I'm trying to find a spot where it's like really bubbling. But if you look close, you'll see little bubbles and everything. Now these ones in particular, you kind of want to just hang. I guess the moss is supposed to hang because natively it hangs on trees and stuff like that. I'm also going to give the ones down in here that are kind of hard to pick out a little bit of water at the same time. So you want to keep things a little bit moist, but not too much, basically. And then you want to get your moss, and you kind of just want to, the clump of the one particular moss spot I need to hold is going there. Okay. Now, you just want to take this and kind of hang it. I usually kind of try to open it up when I do it. Now, I know this doesn't look very good, and a lot of people are probably going to be screaming at me. But, you know, I'm doing the best I can. I'm new to this whole thing. I don't exactly know how 100% of this works. So, for me right now, it's trial and error. Excuse the mess. Still in the process of, you know, cleaning up everything. Oh, this one's stuck to my finger. Sometimes they'll do that. They'll stick. Okay, now to get to this guy, I need to actually get this piece of moss out real quick, because you don't want it attaching too much. But basically, you want this one is very delicate. These ones you do not want the flowers to get wet, so you kind of want to suspend them, and then, you know, try very hard not to get these little white, I think they're stomates, but I could be wrong, I don't know. They're the things that push up the flowers, but you don't want to get them wet. So you gotta like gently turn them when you're doing it. But you'll know when it needs water because they end up looking more sickly and they just don't look this bright and pretty. But these things really don't need any water at all. These are like native to Southern California, parts of Mexico, things like that. But basically these things grow, believe it or not, up in like crags. And if you don't know what a crag is, it's like a crack in a rock where it's like super acidic and alkaline. So these things are actually really tough, despite needing a certain environment to grow in. But yeah, so you know, when this guy gets some more flowers back on him, or her, I don't know what it is. But these things are weird. They also reproduce by themselves. They like spring a clone off. It's really odd. And then you can take those and make a whole new plant. But yeah, this is what I got here, and that's how to take care of an air plant. You guys take it easy. Have a good night.